I've played 35 games of Irelia since the last video, and I've played 62 of my 100 ranked games. In my last video, I had played 27 games of Irelia. I had a 48% win rate, and I now have a higher win rate, setting at 53%, a higher KDA, a higher CS per minute, and higher kill participation. I've also gained 287 LP since the last video, taking me from gold 345 LP to plat 487 LP. I still average a similar number of deaths per game, but I'm also getting 3 to 4 more kills per game than at the time of my previous video. I've definitely improved since last week, and I'm much more comfortable with her. I'm going to go into detail for the rest of the video, but I'll also put chapter markers, so feel free to skip around if parts of it aren't interesting to you. So I have statistically improved, which I'm very happy about, but I also think I've mechanically improved a lot on her. I'm much more comfortable with her trading patterns and with her all-ins, but I still make a lot of mistakes, and I find myself constantly limit testing, whereas before I wouldn't fight unless I was positive I would win the trade. I think limit testing is a really important part of learning any champion, but especially mechanically demanding champions. It's important to have reference points of exactly how much you can get away with. I've definitely lost games because of this, but I think in the long run it's helping me improve more than it's hurting. That being said, I am still making some massive blunders. I still occasionally miss important ultimates, especially late into the game and in team fights. Either I throw it too early, or I throw it at the wrong target, or I miss my ult on really slippery champions like Qiyana. I've also noticed that as I've climbed into a higher tier, players continue to get more and more opinionated on what is right versus wrong. Some of the games have been extremely frustrating, and I found myself starting to get extremely tilted if a lane was running it down, or if a player started trolling because they didn't like the way someone else was playing. I've had games where my ADC started following me around because I thought that in that specific game, split pushing was the best option for our team to win. They disagreed with me. There were times where I would let my team fight without me, and I would take two towers and an inhib, but my team would still flame me, ping me, etc. Bad games will happen though, for myself and for my teammates, and for the enemies. I just have to stay focused and try to stay consistent. Instead of fixating on what my team is doing wrong, I have to focus on myself and just let bad games go. I will say, however, that Irelia feels extremely frustrating to play versus some champions. Statistically, I've had a hard time versus Yasuo, hwei, and Qiyana as far as my lane matchups go. Early on, hwei gave me a lot of trouble. I didn't really understand his kit and when to go for trades. After learning what his abilities actually do and learning what abilities use the cooldown of his fear, he's gotten much easier to play against, and it's no longer a matchup I dread. Yasuo is mostly problematic because of his wind wall. It blocks my stun and blocks my ultimate, and if they have a jungler that synergizes well with Yasuo like Wukong, Diana, or Lee Sin, I am going to get camped on repeat. I was actually banning him for about 10 or 15 games. I got tired of having very frustrating matches versus him, so I just banned him for a while. Nasus is another champion that I seem to be fighting a lot lately, and I'm not sure if he was buffed or if someone has popularized him, but jungle Nasus seems to just farm safely, and by 30 minutes, if you haven't ended the game, he just takes it over. His wither makes it very hard to pressure him if he's ahead, and he has access to a lot of armor and tank items that really hurt the build I've been playing, which I'll talk about later in the video. The last champion that I want to talk about specifically is Rammus. He's been really frequent in my games, and he's very frustrating to play against. He builds first item Bramble, and it hard counters the build I've been playing. The build is a PTA build, press the attack with Blade of the Rune King into Gluttonous Greaves, Kraken Slayer, Death Dance, and either Endless Hunger or Maw, depending on what I need. It provides an insane amount of lifesteal and side lane pressure, but Rammus really shuts the build down, and it shuts it down early. Swapping to Conqueror instead of PTA would definitely help a bit, and it's probably better versus tankier team comps, but I'm going to have to experiment with that more. I've also been experimenting with AP Irelia occasionally. I've tried it out in a couple of games when they've locked in Rammus or where we drafted full AD, and I'm finding some success with it. I haven't done any research into it besides copying Baus's build from one of his games on OPGG, and it's a lot of fun to play. It does require really good E and ultimate usage to pull it off, but I think it excels in deathball comps where we want to teamfight or where they want to teamfight. Or if they have like 3 champions that have easy access to Thornmail in their builds. The last item I've been experimenting a bit with is Hullbreaker. I feel like it's really strong when I have 0 confidence in my team, and my only hope is to side lane for towers and inhibs. In my last video, I mentioned that I was playing mid primary and top secondary. While Irelia has definitely traditionally been a top laner, I feel like her bad matchups are really bad top lane. I've been trying out playing her in the ADC role as my secondary. She's extremely weak level 1 in a 2v2 lane, but she comes online immediately at level 2, especially if you have an engaged support. The PTA build gives you an insane burst, and so far ADCs have not expected it. I don't think AP Irelia would be good in the ADC role due to the number of skirmishes bot lane. You really need the Blade of the Rune King and Kraken pressure in my opinion. I have played maybe 2 games of Irelia support, and AP is okay for support, but overall it still feels pretty troll. I would rather play a different champion completely if no one on my team wanted to swap. I have 38 more Irelia games to play to hit my goal of 100 games. I don't have any specific rank that I would like to achieve by that time. I'm just happy that it feels better to play and feels like I'm improving. If you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate you staying to watch. Everyone was extremely encouraging in the comment section of the last video, and it means a lot to me. If you have any comments or feedback, feel free to leave them below. I read and respond to every comment. I'll also include my Discord link in the description below. It's a new Discord, it just has a couple of my friends in it, but feel free to join if you have any questions or comments you want to ask me directly, or if you just want to hang out and talk about League or gaming in general. Just come drop by and say hi. I'm not really sure what my next goal will be after the 100 games have been played. In my last video, I mentioned that I was interested in playing JRPGs and PlayStation 2 games, and that's still the case. My V2 model is set to be finished early September, and I'd like to wait to start playing PS2 games until it's finished. I did pick up Final Fantasy 13, 13-2, and Lightning Returns. I haven't played 13-2 or Lightning Returns, and I haven't played the original game in like a decade, maybe longer. So I'm definitely considering streaming them as well. I'll have a more concrete answer once I finish my Irelia series. Thank you again for taking the time to watch, and don't be afraid to try something just because it's hard.